Hello, Gun Nation. I knew old Pistol Pete would come in clutch. So, but yeah, we've got a lot to talk about. Oh man, it's been a fun one. So we will get into it. Still got the crud. I am feeling a hell of a lot better though. But I have not been able to taste anything for 2 to 3 days. I think this is the three, third day. I can't taste shit. So let me do a quick roll call. I was saying hi to a bunch of people, but we got Rusty Taylor in the house, Eric Harris, Ranger 10. Good to see you, brother. Been a while. Treadbow time. Let's see here. Pistol Pete is in the house. Mike Kai, Ohio gear guy, and Rich B, Floridian. But hello, TM. Merry Christmas, everyone. I was kind of going to do this Christmas pre-chat, so we're going to talk about some Christmas stuff too. I think it'll be fun. I did want to let y'all know also a flashlight company has been wearing me out. And it is from, China. But they've been wearing me out, to test their lights. And, I had that issue with the other one. So here's what I told them. They've been on me for, maybe a month and a half. Hey, can you test this? Can you test that? And I just said, nah, I just ignored them. And they're like, hey, we got this new light. Really want you to test it. So anyway, I said, okay, I'll test it if you send me two. You'll send me two brand new ones. And I said, I'm going to use one as a test bed, which would be torture tested. So I'm going to freeze it, throw it, beat the shit out of it, overheat it. I'm going to do all kinds of shit to it and see if I can get it to mess up. So we'll go from there. It's going to be an honest review. If it's a piece of shit, it's a piece of shit. If it's good, it's good. So anyway, they're supposed to be sending it, but I hadn't got a tracking number yet, but maybe they've already sent it. What's up, Josh Benware, man? Long time no see. Another Texas brother. We got Uncle Dan and Josh, and probably some other ones for Texas. Hello, Chris from the 740. How are you? Lake Ozark guy, CZ Shadow 2. Yeah, I'm interested. I would, maybe Chris would know. Here's Pistol Pete too. 9mm plus P plus. I wonder what the velocity of that is. Pretty curious. Might be good. How it compares to 10mm. Let's see here. Real quick, I am in Odessa this week. So I came down to look at property and also to visit some customers. So I had a situation. I'll talk to you all about it. Actually, I had two situations while I've been here. If y'all have ever been to Odessa, Odessa's a cool place. It's kind of a good old boy. I fit right in with boots and jeans and all that other stuff. There's a lot of riggers here, old riggers. There's ones that have been doing it for a long time, and they're kind of, roughnecks, old souls, hard workers. And then there's younger guys, younger kids and things that are getting into it, who are cocky, who are spry, and, can talk a lot of shit. So, let's just say I had a run in with some roughnecks at a convenience store. Wasn't anything I couldn't handle, but a couple of them were older guys, mature, good people, but they had some younger ones with them. What they'll do, if you've ever been up here, they have these big parking lots like at convenience stores, or like over on the side. So what they'll do is everybody will meet there. Then they'll jump in like big work trucks and leave their personal trucks there, and then go out to the rigs. That's pretty common around here. Well, anyway, I was at the convenience store yesterday morning, and was getting out of my company car. Y'all all know I drive a truck. I'm a truck person. I don't like cars, but it's a company car. Anyway, I got out of my company car, and I think I've told y'all what it is. It's a Nissan. So I'm here, the big old 3500 diesel here, lifted, auxiliary tanks, the whole works on it, every accessory known to man on it. They're all piling out of it. And my big ass gets out of this little Nissan Altima. And I got boots and jeans and all that stuff. And I'm walking around the corner. And, I did that to one of the older guys, and he did that. And then this young guy popped off and said, "What's that big old SOB in that god dang?" And he said the GD word. And he didn't say China car. He said the slang car. Starts with a J. And anyway, he said it loud enough to where I heard it, and kind of gave him a little stare down. And I said, "You might want to check yourself." I said, "That's a company car. That's not normally what I drive, but it's a company car and it's free." And he kind of looked down. And anyway, I was in the store. He was in the store. Nothing else was said. When I walked out, they were coming behind me. And I said, "Y'all have a good day." And everybody said, "Okay." And then that little kid or younger guy, I don't want to say kid, he's probably in his 20s. He was muttering some stuff. Now, I didn't hear what he said. But I'm just like, I'm like, damn, is this about to happen, with some young kid? It is what it is. But I just, and here in Odessa, they're roughnecks. Everybody drives a diesel truck. They basically roll coal. If y'all know what that means, they performance up their diesel trucks, slam on it, coal's pouring out of the back of it, and they race. They roll coal and race. That's what they love to do around here. Even in this hotel, you can just hear them ripping down through here with them damn diesels. They cut the resonators off and let them roll. Let's see here. Hello, Bald and Curious. How are you? IBG, A-Dubs. Hopefully I've caught up on everybody. But anyway, so that was a little episode yesterday morning. Yeah, well, I was going to say, I think he had more snuff in his mouth and his lip than he had ass. And I'm a dipper too, but he had that half a can dip in his mouth. I was like, "You're going to have to grow some more balls before you start playing with me like that." And I think he was just probably trying to be cool in front of his older work compadres. Like I said, we've all been dumb kids. I definitely cut him some slack, but I was going to let him know that he can't just talk to. I mean, there might be people who tolerate that shit, but it ain't me. And again, everybody, Merry Christmas. Definitely want to let y'all know about that. Also, next week, I will be off, for Christmas. So I am going to be taking a buddy shooting. Now, he shoots. He has pistols. He carries a concealed pistol. He has ARs. He has a big 308, but he's never shot 300 blackout ever. And he does a lot of, what is the actual word for it? He's a big hiker, but he also has Jeeps. So he lifts them and does all the rock climbing competitions and a lot of that. So he travels all around in the circuit and does some stuff like that. So he's got some pretty crazy builds for Jeeps, CJs, Wranglers, Cherokees, all that kind of crap. But he's never shot 300 blackout. So, and he's never really even shot he shot a suppressed gun, but he's never shot a suppressed 300 blackout. So I'm going to introduce him to supers and subs. So I'll be taking one of my 300 blackouts and take some different ammo so he can kind of get a taste of it, because he's wanting to build something or wanting me to help him build something. And he's, with me talking to him and seeing what he's looking for, I think that would be the perfect round that he's wanting to use. So anyway, I'll be taking him to do that, and he has never shot a 22 suppressed, so we're going to do that because he wants to get one. He's got younger boys, so he's wanting to get a 22 that they can play with, and then he's interested in suppressors now. So we're going to be kind of introducing him to that. So I think that'll be a lot of fun. Hello, Scott79. How are you, Jason Fisher? Hope you're doing good. Hey, Turkey's Opinion. How are you, man? No, we don't say Happy Holidays, Uncle Dan. That's bullshit. We say Merry Christmas. Or that's what I say. No, we say Merry Christmas. And you know that too. So we got that out of the way. Also, had a situation. I went and looked at some property. This is not land. It's actually office and warehouse space. That's one reason I'm down here for the company. Looking at a hub to potentially open here. And so I'm looking at properties, and I was with a realtor. He's probably a little younger than me, kind of a shorter gentleman, super nice, really nice. He was showing me some properties, and they were all locked up, gated up. Nobody was in them, supposedly all that. So we looked at the first one. It was a total no-go. I can't get an 18-wheeler in there. The dock was all jacked up. They had a cage built in it and all this other shit, so it wasn't going to work. So, I told him no on the first one, went to the second location. I was taking some pictures, filming, doing a walkthrough, all that, and I think it might work. But anyway, I was going through, he was standing in, it's part warehouse, and then it's got part inside office, kind of suites. There's a bathroom, there's a shower inside this office space. It's a weird shower, but you'll have to hear me on this. Anyway, I'm walking through, the lights were off, so I flipped the lights on, I'm walking through it, he's in there with me, and I'm kind of going all through these offices, going back and forth. Anyway, started hearing this noise, and I stopped and I looked at him because I thought, well, the realtor's over there moving stuff around, and I looked at him and he wasn't moving, and he looked at me. We kind of looked at each other and we're like, what the hell's that noise? And anyway, it was coming from a back office. And in this back office, you go into this kind of a meeting room, and there's a closet back there. And I didn't know that there was a closet back there because I've never been in this place. Anyway, I went back there, and I could hear something, and I was like, something just doesn't sound right. So anyway, I backed up, and I'm not saying I'm a CQB guy or any of that shit. I'm not that guy, I can probably take care of myself. But anyway, so the realtor stayed out there. I stayed in there, and I just went like this to him. And so he stayed out there, and I kind of, instead of walking right up to the door and opening it, I kind of pied back. And let's just say I was ready. And I was like, is somebody in here? Is somebody in here? And then the damn doorknob to that little closet started wiggling. And I was like, you need to get your ass out here. This building was 100% locked up. It's gated. I don't know what the hell. Anyway, it was a freaking transient person. Come to find out, when I walked back through, anyway, I escorted the person out, kept them far in front of me, escorted the person out through the side door, locked it behind them, told them to get the hell out of here. Started walking through. There's a back bathroom on the outside of the shop, all the way around the back where the warehouse part is. It's a big, huge bathroom. It's got a toilet, a sink, and a big floor in there. And I went in there and started looking around, and there was all kinds of shit. They'd been living in there, I guess. Anyway, so that was entertaining. The realtor was freaked out because they only have the keys to this property. We started checking all the doors. They weren't, jiggled. They weren't pried open. We don't know how the hell this person got in unless they climbed through the attic somehow. So that's the only way, we didn't go up there and start looking around. But anyway, so that was different. Didn't think anything like that would ever happen. That's the first time it's ever happened in my life. So that was interesting. I don't know if that's ever happened to any of y'all, but let me catch back up. And that's in Odessa, Texas. Ooh, I want an 80 series Land Cruiser for Christmas. IBG, that'd be legit. Those are nice vehicles. Afternoon delight in the closet. I don't know what was going on. It was only one person. And after that, when I escorted that person out to the side door and locked the door, I ended up going through the whole entire thing because that shower's in there and it's on a pedestal and it's that frosted glass. So I opened up the shower and the floor pan was wet. So I guess that person had taken a shower in there too. I'm assuming they just been living there, but I don't know how they were getting in and out. That's what I don't get it. So anyway, well, he got escorted out. He didn't own that property, and I know what you're talking about, Pistol Pete. Those people, that's crazy. He knew he shouldn't have been there though. Let's see here. Also, that's what I was going to ask. What is everybody like either buying themselves for Christmas or wanting for Christmas? It doesn't have to be gun related, just like he was saying with the Toyota Land Cruiser. But what's everybody wanting or planning or already bought for themselves? Just curious. I'm sure people have already, gotten some stuff. Hell, I even ordered some stuff for myself. Got some more gloves. I mean, I'm like a glove freak. These weren't like expensive or anything. They're just camoed mechanic gloves. Found them on sale and they're in my size. And they had limited quantity. They only had three pair in my size. So I grabbed 2 pair of them because they're kind of hard to find sometimes. And if you go to a gun store in my size, it's weird. Well, I guess it's the same with some t-shirts. If you have too big of a t-shirt, they're using more material. But some of the gloves for like the big sizes, they'll either be super cheap or they'll be like $8 or $10 more. And these were actually like $7. They were on sale, but they were even like $7 cheaper than the regular sizes. And also I use those gloves not just when I'm shooting outside or whatever, it's cold, or hunting or whatever. Also use them to keep them in the truck or, it's good to have like in a go bag, things like that. So Brad said he bought himself an Aimpoint T2 for Christmas. That's awesome, man. Those are damn good. Scott is looking for a reasonably priced M1 Garand. There you go. Hello, Norwood. How are you? Oh, Donnie wants a hug from Big Johnson. Yeah, Donnie, I appreciate your Christmas card from your family. That was awesome. Donnie and I have been friends for a while. Brian says, I managed a large distribution selling electrical shit. We kept losing batteries by the thousands and couldn't figure out why. We're really short. Finally go. Yeah, and luckily this guy, maybe he was just looking for a place to stay, but he hadn't ripped any of the copper out or anything of the building. But oh boy. All for Christmas is a better deal from the DA on these BS charges I racked up through my lovely future ex-wife. Oh man. Damn. I'm sorry about that, Bald. That sucks, dude. That freaking sucks. Ranger got a FN 510 10 millimeter for himself. That's awesome, man. I haven't shot one of those yet. I'd be curious to see how they shoot. Uncle Dan wants him a full auto MP5. Santa will probably bring you that. Hello, M. Gabriel. How are you? Food and water and cookies if you have extra. Damn. Yeah. Damn, I've been hacking that shit up. I'll hire a gear guy. I love a couple of new suppressors, but I have a 3-month-old. So I have to tell everyone I got everything I could ask for. Yeah, I get you, man. I understand. Kids are not cheap, that's for sure. Turkey's Opinion wants a staccato and 40 Smith & Wesson. I have, they used to have the old STI Hawk, and I actually had one. I had an STI Hawk. Mine was in 9mm, but you could get them in 40. And I've seen a few of them. I mean, just like for sale, like, gun broker kind of things. They're super rare. But if you could find one, an STI Hawk in 40, they're pretty cool. Now, they're not optic cut, but you could have it milled if you want to put an optic, or if you don't, that's cool too. CMP. Yes, Brian, I do. I don't really talk about, I kind of leave some of that stuff personal. People who know me know, but I mean, and I know you know me, but I've never mentioned it to you. But yeah, I kind of keep my family out of the YouTube thing. I definitely really like to have a private life, and it's nothing personal, but yes, I do. Taught very young to shoot as well. So that's the way I've always been. Let's see here. Yeah, like I said, I kind of bought some stuff before. Like I went ahead and bought that, the Radian Afterburner and Ramjet, because I got a good deal on it Black Friday. So I was just like, I'm gonna buy shit for Christmas for myself anyway. So I bought that. I bought some gloves, 2 pair of gloves. I bought, what else did I buy? There was some more stuff I bought. I guess it'll be a surprise when it comes in. One of them's already shipped. I just can't remember what the hell it is. It was one of those things where I saw it and I'm like, oh yeah, I need to get one of these. Oh, damn, Uncle Dan. Yeah, all my neighbor kids, they all look like me. Hey, you got to take care of everybody, Oh, I did. I bought some more mags. I didn't need to, but I went ahead and bought 3 more staccato mags. I got 3 20-rounders. I bought some more Lancer 30-round mags. I got 10 Lancer 30-round mags, and I got 5 Lancer 20-round mags. And it was something else, but whatever. Norwood said when it comes to 2 15-round mags and 2 22-round mags, and go bag, yeah. Hello, DB. How are you? This flu is killing me. Yep. Oh, it sucks, man. Yeah, we talked about that Ohio gear. I mentioned it last week. Cabot makes a really nice gun as far as their 1911s. I've never seen this new 2011. I forget the name of it. God, I said it last week a couple of times. I had it written down. I forgot about the damn name of it. It looks like a really nice gun. It kind of has the nostalgia of a 1911 when you look at it from the side with the grip. It is all steel. I think they're super nice. What is it, the Embassy or Emissary? I think it's Emissary. But anyway, it looks really nice. I don't know how it shoots. I've never shot it. I've never seen one in person. I've only seen videos just like y'all. But yeah, I'm definitely wanting to see one. Would I buy one? Probably not, because it's $7,500 for this limited edition. They're doing 50 of these particular ones, but the starting price of it is like $5,400. But I'm honestly where I am now, and that kind of becomes diminishing returns, like I've talked about before in another chat. What, other than it being a Cabot, holding extreme good value, as long as it runs properly, but what can that 2011 do that my MPA or my staccato can't do? It's not like it's going to be you know, more pinpoint accurate to me. I mean, I'm not a professional shooter, so to say. So I'm not a bullseye shooter. So I don't, other than having it and, you know, the niceness and probably the quality and all of that, I just don't, I personally don't see a point in it. Not saying if you buy it, it's bad. Let's see, DB got, let's see here, got the magwell and trigger installed on the 17L Glock and 5 extra mags. Nice. Got you the long boy now. Got a case of 9mm on the way. There you go. Yeah. No, this is not a green screen. This is a freaking Odessa hotel, man. Yep. They all kind of start looking the same. This bed, I don't know where they found it, and these pillows, I don't know where they found those either, but good God, they're not comfortable. Here's what I would like to see in 2024. It's a great question. I would like to see somebody with some common sense running our country. I would like to see all these, you know, gun grabs and all that shit. I just wish the Supreme Court would just come out and say, look, it ain't happening. Move on. Go deal with the pedos. Go deal with the drug epidemic. Go deal with the craziness epidemic. Go deal with all that shit. Leave good gun owners alone. That's what I would love to see to come out of that. You know, we're fighting every day for it, but that's what I would love to see. I would love to see the ATF go away, the NFA go away. We don't need the alphabet. We've had it. We don't need any more of it. We know how to write and spell, hopefully, so we don't need any of that. But that's the, you know, that's what I'd like to see. And of course, everybody be healthy. You know, my dad would do a full recovery. I don't know if that's going to happen, but I would like to see it. And that's another thing. Oh man, with this medical deal, with the nursing, because he is scheduled to be released. Well, put it this way, he was scheduled to be released today, because Medicare, Medicaid, Blue Cross Blue Shield, you know, they only will do it so long. He's not, you know, perfect, still on a feeding tube and all that other stuff, and needs 24-hour care. So now we're paying out of pocket till the first of the year, and then it's going to be in-home care that we're paying for. So, you know, I wish there was something different with that, and I wish our veterans could be taken care of. I mean, I wish we would take care of America first, not, you know, all those other countries were pumping $200 million and $148 million too. I wish we'd take care of America first. That's what I would love. But, you know, I can shit in one hand and piss in the other, and we'll see which one fills up first. Let's see here. Hang on a second. Damn, you're just doing something weird. Okay, here we go. Uncle Dan says, I get my boys guns for Christmas every year. I was going to skip out on it this year, but I got them both PSA daggers. Going to announce this year at Christmas, done buying. They can fight over the few guns. Nice, man. That's nice. I mean, a lot of people have those guns, and they seem to work really well. I mean, it's got a lifetime warranty on it if something ever happens. I did see the CZ P10F tactical with the threaded barrel and everything. They're selling it for like $424, which is a pretty smoking price. Yeah, Uncle Dan. Yep, I agree. I'm not even going to say that word because I know that they're probably already going to demonetize this video. They're hitting every one of mine. 2024, what am I going to grab? As far as guns and stuff, I mean, I'm just being completely honest. I don't need anything. I was going through the safes. When was it last? I was sick. I felt like shit. So I went, started looking through the bottoms of some of them. And I've got guns I haven't even shot in shit 2 and 3 years. I mean, they're literally sitting there. And I was just like, God dang, man. So I don't need a thing. If something really comes out that's super spectacular, like that's revolutionary, I might grab it, but I don't have any plans, honestly, to grab anything else. I really don't. ALS, no. He has Parkinson's, a little bit of dementia, and he's on a feeding tube. And his, due to the Parkinson's, like that's the thing. Also, my dad, pretty much his whole life, has had, he was never diagnosed, but he has like ADHD. He's super hyper. His mind's going 90 miles an hour. Super active person. Well, now he can't walk very well because of his balance. He falls, but his brain's going and go, hey, let's get up and run around. So his brain's telling him to get up, and he'll just try to jump up out of his wheelchair and think he's going to walk, and then boom, and you'll just be sitting right beside him. And he'll have a blanket on watching TV, and all of a sudden he'll just whip the blanket off and jump up. It's that quick. That's what he's doing. And in nursing facilities and things like that, you can't even have handrails that pull up on a bed because it's counted as being tied down, or whatever you call it, restrained. They count pull-up things just so you don't roll out of the bed. They count those as restraints, and that's against the law. So, and we want him just, like he goes to exercise and do things like that, but if you're not watching him, he'll jump up and try to run off. Yeah, Marshall, what they're doing is running a dry cleaning service, if you know where I'm going with that. That's what they're doing. Hello, Lynn Holt. He is in Conroe, Texas. I know very well what that is. That's what I'm talking about, Uncle Dan. I know that it's happened to you. I mean, it happens to, I don't want to say orders, but, if you've got a lot of guns or built a lot of rifles or, have a larger selection of firearms, that happens. Hello, Pranic. How are you? Got another Texas boy in the house. Yeah, Brian he sent me a text about this. PSA just bought out a fairly new gun range. 10 bays, 4,000 square feet of sales floor, or how many other LGSs they will buy soon. Who knows? I mean, some of the big boys are coming in. I mean, as far as even other companies, not firearms related, but that's happening. Rock Chalk is saying, on Holosun dots, do you like the circle with dot, or circle only reticle? I've tried them all. Preference is single dot, but I do like the EOTech, the ring with the dot sometimes, especially if you're shooting like large steel. It's pretty fast, and it kind of speeds you up a little bit. So, especially if you're having, what's the way to say this? If you're the good thing about the Holosun, now, of course, the ACSS reticle has the big ring and the chevron, but if you can't find that or don't want to spend the money on that, if you get one with the the 3 different reticle selections, until you're coming up and you're getting, to where you can see the single dot every single time at presentation, you can start with a larger ring, and that helps you kind of have a larger view of the dot, so to say. So, you can work with that, shoot with that. And then once you really get your muscle memory locked down, then you can go to the single dot. So that's the benefit of having those three reticles. And if you ever wanted put it on a PCC or something like that, you have an EOTech type reticle, if you prefer that. Yeah, IBG, that is the one I'm kind of looking for, the new P10 series, just to see if it's something completely different. Yeah, and Gabriel, there's a ton of things that they're saying that can cause Parkinson's. My grandmother had it too. So, and they say it can be hereditary. I've got a little bit of a tremor. But then again, they just said that mine's a normal just with age. So I don't know, it's, everything calls it the C word now. Everything can cause this or that. So who knows? Which lower power scope would you guys recommend, 2 to 7 or 1 to 8? Well, David, it really depends on if you want to use the 1 as like a red dot, I would say go 1 to 8. But if you want something to extend it out a little bit, 2 to 7, I don't, and having a 2 to a 1, I mean, it's not that big of a deal. But if it were me, I would either go like 1 to 8, 1 to 6, or I would go like 4 to whatever, and then maybe piggyback a red dot if you want to do that. But it just depends on if it's going to be more for up close, if you're going to use the 1 or the 6 or the 1 or the 8, or if you're going to use the 4, like past 100 yards, more dominantly. There's a lot of variables there. So it really depends on what you want. There's no wrong or right answer. I would just say I would say, and I have cheap scopes, I have mid-level scopes, and then I have high, like super nice glass scopes where they're super crystal clear. I would say just don't get a super, super cheap scope, because at distance, it's gonna show up pretty good. Because that's where you want to PDI people and things like that, so you can get positive identification, or animals or whatever it might be. So I would say, you don't have to get a $5,000 scope or $3,000 scope, but I just wouldn't, on something you're going to shoot potentially longer ranges, I just wouldn't get like a $200 or $300 scope. They'll work, but you'll appreciate, and you'll actually kind of sometimes you'll become a glass snob or a scope snob. And I'm just being honest, I've got a little bit of snobbery in me, because when I look through one of my basic scopes, even my basic 1 to 6, and then I look at my Razor HD 1 to 6, it is night and day. I mean, there is no comparison. Also, with your daylight brightness, that's a big deal. If you want to shoot it during the day, I mean, there's just a lot of things about that's different. Mossberg is a very good company. Yes, I have tried that. It was not mine. I think it was Threat Cadres. I think it was either Threat Cadres but I did try it. And also I tried the Delta Point Pro, I tried the Trijicon version, but I tried the Delta Point Pro version. And honestly, I didn't care for either one of them. Just personal. I'm not saying they're bad. I mean, they'll work, whatever you want to do. I'm not saying it wasn't bright enough, because I was shooting it during the day. But I was just like, I didn't like it personally. Now, granted, I tried both of them when I was newer to dots. I haven't tried them since. So I might look at it tomorrow and go, well, it's not as bad, so that could be on me, So I'm not knocking them. And I say, whatever works for you, use it. because we all have different eyes. I've got dual stigmatisms. A lot of people don't have that. And not that those make it worse. It's just sometimes you get a different look and it just doesn't set up for you. And I pretty much decided because, and I had this, and the reason why I thought about it, I've got it written down, but somebody asked me the other day, do I prefer green reticles? And y'all have asked me this before. I know we've talked about it in the past. Do I prefer green or red? You know, for dots on pistols. And honestly, and I love, and I've said this before, I love green fiber optics on irons. So I love green on my irons if they're fiber optic. But I'm almost pretty much staying with the red bandwagon. And I have 2 green ones. And it could be these particular green ones. They're Holosun. And I get a little more bursting with the green with my astigmatisms. And I like 508T, I've got it in green, and then I've got other 507s in red. And I can look at them side by side, and the green has a little more bursting. I don't know if it's that particular model or the way they made that one, or, you know, I don't have like 15 green ones to look through, but I'm still kind of leaning more towards the red ones. So I don't know, you know, and everybody's different. See, here's CZ Shadow 2. He likes the green. And I love green fiber optic. I love it over red all day long. But I think I'm leaning more towards the red on dots, unless there's a different brand, or, you know, I get another green dot that's, you know, maybe not a Holosun, or maybe is a Holosun, but it's a better model or a better emitter. You know, that could change my mind too. Yeah, if they came in orange, I'd have it in orange. There's an orange one sitting right over there. Well, not a dot, but there's an orange gun sitting right there, and an orange holster. So orange gun, orange holster, orange pocket knife. Or no, it's not an orange pocket knife. I didn't bring the Benchmade today. I like battle type of reticles. Yeah, I mean, I like battle type BDC reticles on rifles. I do like them, especially for 100 yards and in. But long range, I do prefer the crosshairs. Orange guns matter. Orange everything matters. Matter of fact, I had one of these orange shirts on the other day, and I had my black and orange big bass boots on. And somebody looked at me and they were like, "Wow, you must like orange." And I was like, "Hell yeah, I do." When is he not sleeping, Brian? I really want to know that. I think he's literally walking and sleeping. I mean, he slept at the Hawaiian deal. I mean, he slept. What was that? The national, international deal. He slept during that. Everybody said he ate his NyQuil chicken. I mean, he's broke 'em horns. Been a Horns fan since I was 10 or 9. Hopefully they get to go to the big show too, or at least in the Final Four. Green fiber is more visible to me. Green laser is more visible to me. I think in dots, my eye red is better too. Yeah, and I've got that Mantis, and it's in green, and I actually like it in green in the laser. So it could just be that those particular green dots that I have. Like I said, I haven't tried, you know, like a multiple selection of them. So I don't know. Also, somebody asked me, and I thought this was really weird, but after they asked me, I thought, man, that's actually a pretty cool question, because I definitely have some things that when they asked me that, I was like, oh man, this. So I've written them down. But the person was like, what smells like kick off things in your head? Like maybe fresh cut grass or something like that. And where it takes me is like when I smell a smell, it takes me back to a place that I remember, or like something that it's like, oh yeah, that's cool. I like that smell, or it just takes me to a memory or something. And I was just wondering, when he asked me that, I was like, that's kind of cool. Um, so do y'all have anything like that, like a certain smell? I mean, like it could be grass, it could be whatever, and then I'll tell you what mine are. Let's see. Hello, Clyde. How are you? Let's see here. 6 hour Vortex or US Optics for 1 to 8. This is my vote. 6 hour, you can get a really good price on it. I tend to really like Vortex, and the reason being is if anything in the world goes wrong with that, for the life of that optic, it's covered. Even if you drop it and break it, they will cover it. If you crack a lens, if you tweak the eye relief adjustment, if you do anything, they'll replace it. So, and Vortex has a really good reputation. I think I've got like 4 or 5 of their scopes. I've never had to return one. I'm also a whatever you call it, a ambassador for Primary Arms. I have multiple of their scopes. Some I purchased, some they sent to me. I've had 1 out of 6 that went bad. The tracking just took a shit. So, but they replaced it. So it has a lifetime warranty on it also. I just don't know about some of the others. So I can only speak with what I know. Hello, Chessboard. How are you? Merry Christmas. Pranic has said he's had good luck with SIG optics. Ballistol smells like vomit. Yeah, Ballistol is definitely a crazy smell. Burning wires. I remember the burning plastic. Uh-oh. Outhouse door on the tuna boat. I knew Uncle Dan would fire one up. Match grade 22 smells fruity. Pranic, I think some of the match grade, like Ely, it smells like peanuts to me. If you've shot a lot of Ely 22, it smells like peanuts. Hello, Steve L. Uh-oh. Is this the CZ Fanboy Network? CZ makes great guns. Rasso polish. Ooh, I was going to say, I bet it does, A-dubs. You probably still have that shit in your skin. Sig Romeo 2. I did have one of the old the Sig Romeo original, and that thing was a piece of shit. I had all kinds of problems with it, and I know Bald. I think it was the same one that Bald had problems with his, and other people had problems, but that was one of their earlier ones. And hell, I think somebody else made it for them. Hello, Fina. How are you? Merry Christmas. Napalm in the morning. Vietnam. I actually kind of like Ballistol. I have it too, or I have. I use that. I used to use that stuff forever. Yeah, Fina's saying everybody hit that like button. Yeah, I'd appreciate that. We can have that Merry Christmas, and everybody can get this Merry Christmas chat. Yeah, like I said, mine was the original Romeo. Yeah, I've heard good thing about Right-On Optics. I've never used one. I've looked through one at the gun store, but I haven't like gone out and looked at the grass and done all that other stuff, and outdoor lighting. But like I said, whatever works for you. Hoppy's 9, man, I grew up with that shit. And that stuff, man, it probably rots your liver out. Here's mine. And it's really weird, but I love like new leather. And where I'm talking about is leather, like if I have custom made boots or if I go buy a new pair of boots. I love the smell of leather. With the leather soles and stuff, you open up the box and you can just smell that leather. But what it really reminds me is a saddle maker. I used to have a saddle maker that made some of my saddles back when I did steer wrestling. This was way, way back in high school, and a little after high school, I did steer wrestling. And I had a horse, and I had a guy named Chansey. He was a professional saddle maker. And I would go over and he would fit me for my saddle because I had to get up, and he's got like it's like a fake horse because I have long legs, and, I was just a big guy. So he'd have to build. So I had the horn in the proper place because I can sit on some saddles and the horn will rack me. And this is standard. If some people are like, I've never been on a saddle, or I don't know what the hell you're talking about, but you have to be fitted for your saddle, your stirrups, the length, and you can adjust them up and down. But for your foot size, your boot size, they have to adjust the opening of your stirrups because you're going to wear with spurs. So they'll want to have you in your jeans with your boots on, with your spurs on, and they're aligning everything so you can get the kick and all that shit. And if you're going to spur up front, if you're riding bronc or bull, Brahma, I didn't do that. I just was dumb and jumped off a perfectly good horse and tackled a cow. But when I would go in Chauncey's place, he had fresh leather, tanned leather, and he's trimming it, burning it, singeing it, lacing it, sewing it, burning the stitches. And I could just smell, when I smell leather, even when I go in a boot store, I smell the saddle shop. And it takes me back to a place. And I think that's really cool. Also, nitro fuel, when I used to race, just that methane, just that. I know some people, it burns their eyes. They don't like it. I mean, I couldn't just, even way back in the day, I had a respirator when we were running it all the time. But I love that smell, and I love burnt rubber from when you're burning out the tires or slicks, getting them hot. I just love that smell. So those are just some of the, ones. And then also like fresh mowed grass, not necessarily your house grass, but like a fresh mown field before you played a football game. When you were out there and they were mowing the grass and you're practicing, you just smell that grass and it's game time. So those are just some little memories that kind of brought those up. So I thought that was kind of cool because it just kind of took me down memory lane. Yeah, and David, like I said, I'm not telling you what to do. I mean, please, I'm not the person that tells people you got to buy this and you got to buy that. It's just, I know and I know people who have had to return Vortex, and it's no questions asked. I mean, it's literally like, here's your label, boom. And once you ship it and they see that it's shipped, you've already got another one on the way. It's like a 3-day turnaround time for a lot of these. Feed store. Yep. Feed store. I remember those days too. And the ag barns, you're walking through the shit trailers and all that stuff. And I remember cleaning out my trailer. Whew, that was not fun. Oh, cool. Justin Thigpen yesterday, National Rodeo Champion 2019 at my barbershop. That's cool, man. I wasn't, like a national. I never went pro or any of that. But I did do a lot of dumb shit as far as jumping off horses. Report cards. Yeah, I remember that. Hay fields. Yeah, I remember the hay too. Man, my grandfather, I used to have to go out on a flatbed and, we have the machine that would put the cord on it or the baling wire, and then I'd grab it and throw it up on the trailer. And I smelled a shitload of hay. Whew. And if it's wet, like rain, ooh, that stuff can get stinky. And then we have to put it in the barn and store it. And there's nothing worse than wet hay. If it can't air out, that shit gets moldy. It gets nasty. But yeah, it's just crazy how some of these smells, like I'll just be somewhere and I'll smell a smell and boom, it just takes you back somewhere. So. Rock Chalk is asking, what distance do you sight for a pistol red dot, 10 or 15? I personally do 15. You can get away with a 10. I always say, if you're going to carry 124, sight your dot in with 124. So you know where it is with your carry ammo, because it's gonna, even at shorter distances, you're gonna have a little bit of drop or a little bit of height. But I mean, you're still going to be right there in the wheelhouse, so it's not going to throw it off. But I know people that do it at 7. I know people that do it at 10, 15, 25, and where I find is the 15 is kind of the happy medium. I mean, you could even do 12 if you want, but 15 just works for me. I mean, if I send it out to 12 or 13, I'm not going to die, but I think 15 is that happy medium. And a lot of videos where I just happen to be watching it, there'll be some instructor and he's like, hey, I do my dots at 15. I'm hearing more and more and more 15, but I've been doing that for a long time. Sometimes if I'm doing a quick zero, I've done them at 7 to 10, just to kind of get going or something with a video, but then I fine tune them at 15. Yeah, and like David's saying, he did 5 yards and then go to 15 yards. Some people do 7, but what I will do after I've sighted it at 15 yards, I'll check it at 7, I'll check it at 10, I'll check it at 15, I'll check it at 25 with the same carry ammo. And that way I know, okay, at 7 yards, it's this much higher. At 25 yards, it's this much lower, just so I'll be in the ballpark. I'm not saying you got to go out there and shoot 50 rounds, but just to verify at your distances, most common distances, so to say. Yep, Merry Christmas, everyone. Knuckle Dan does 25 yards, an inch or so, low, close, but I want to get stupid high at longer distances. I get it. Yeah, and some people do that so they don't have as much drop if they want to shoot like 50 yards or whatever. Because I've shot at 50 yards. I've got video where I was with the Humble Marksman at his outdoor range, and I was shooting the TSO and an STI, and I was shooting at 50 yards, and then I shot at 75 yards, and you definitely get some drop. So, I mean, it's not as drastic with 115, but like 147 and stuff, you'll definitely get a drop. Yeah, and like I said, 12 and 15, there's not a huge difference there, A-Dub, so whatever works for you. And here's something that I'll rephrase, or that I'll state, because I've said it before in other videos. I pretty much do everything freehand. Like, I'll shoot like 3 or 4 or 5, and then I'll adjust it, 3 or 4 or 5. Because real world, you're not going to be, like benching it. But if you need to fine tune it, like a little bit off or a little bit, definitely bench rest it. And the way I have found the best way to bench rest it is not put your pistol on a bag, but if you can, put something like, say you had a tall little wall, if you could put your wrist or your forearms on the wall and have your pistol hanging loose over that, that actually works better than physically putting your bag on a pistol or basing your pistol on a bench. Because it allows, a little bit of give, and you're not just hammering your pistol down. And I find that it's actually a little more accurate. Not that I'm a bullseye shooter anymore. I'm not claiming that. But I do find I get a little more accurate zeroing if I'll do that. And like at Texas Gun Experience, they have this thing. It's really to shoot rifles with, and it's got like these little cutouts for your barrel. And I'll grab it. It's super heavy, and it's about, I don't know, it's probably 16 or 18 inches tall. So, and I'm a tall person, so I'll set it on the bench. And then when I put my hands up there, it's kind of like I have them on a ladder. And what's good is it allows me to have my eyes, like if I were to stand up, and I'm not doing this, at the range, like on a bench, because that shit, it's just not going to be as accurate as when you're pulling the gun up to your eyes. So that's what I find works for me. Not that I'm a professional. It's just, that's what I find works for me. Yeah, and that's exactly kind of what I'm saying, Bald. It's like, people are like, in order to get the perfect zero, you've got to bench rest. And I'm like, when are you going to bench rest your gun in a freaking gunfight? I mean, you're not going to do that, but I understand what they're saying to get the maximum accuracy out of your gun. But what I have found, and it's probably the way I hold the gun, it's all this other stuff. When I bench rest it and I adjust it perfectly, and I can sit there and shoot like really tight groups, and it's probably because of my trimmer. Then when I come up and I'm shooting, I can be a little more right, constantly a little more right, or constantly a little more left. And it's probably just due, to my trimmer or whatever. So that's why I'm kind of a proponent of adjusting with your normal grip and not bench resting it. But if you want to verify, bench rest it. Holy shit. David's asking these freaking hard ass questions, man. I can't use my brain. It's too late for that. Yeah. Let's see here. Your thoughts on the performance or Glock performance trigger, seeing them on sale for $65. Curious if it's worth it. I personally don't have any experience with it. I haven't shot it myself. I have heard other people. I have a buddy who doesn't live near me, so I couldn't try it. He lives in a different state. He has bought one and tried it, and he said it's way better than a factory Glock trigger. But it's not, it's not a whiz bang trigger. It's just smoother, has a little less creep and sponginess, just a little less than a factory Glock trigger. So do you want to spend $65 for that, or maybe 90 for even a better one? That's kind of the way I would look at it, but I personally don't have any experience with it. 5 out of 4 Texans suck at math. I'm one of them. Yeah, I did not excel at math in high school or college. So they made calculators for. And now you got to get a damn phone now. Oh, here we go. Steve L. finally shot a doe with a pistol last night. One of the shots I have always wanted to do. Desert Eagle 50 AE. There you go. Congratulations, man. That's one thing I have never done. I have never shot a deer with a pistol. I had an older guy that I hunted with a couple of times, and he shot with, God, what was it? I know it was a 44 Magnum. Was it a Ruger? It was the one that had you could put a little mini scope on it, and it had like a tripod little thing, or a bipod. I'm sorry, not a tripod, a bipod. And he'd get behind that thing, and he had a comp on the front of it, and he shot many deer with that thing. But I've never done it. That's funny that you say that, A-Dubs. My grandmother actually was an engineer for Texas Instruments. She retired from Texas Instruments. And it was really funny because when I was a little kid, every Christmas, I got the speaking. I mean, I would get all the new Texas Instrument that every year I got Texas Instrument shit. So I got like the Speak and Spell. I got like whatever the newest thing was from Texas Instruments. That's what I got every damn year for Christmas. So yeah, she retired full tilt. She worked at the one right there at the right there at 75, the big old Texas Instruments. Yep, she retired there. Yep. Yep, and I got like one of the first calculators. She even got me it was a translator. Like you could type a word in it and it would say it, and I can't remember. I don't know all the languages. It wasn't super sophisticated back in the day. I mean, this is a long time ago, but it was kind of cool. Yeah, she like did all the circuit boards and all that kind of crap. She had to wear a lab coat, and she was in the clean rooms and all that kind of stuff. So I thought that was kind of cool. But yeah, I definitely wanted to do this chat, prior to Christmas, because I want y'all to all have a Merry Christmas. Spend time with your family. That's always a great thing. I'll be spending time with my dad too, and my mom. We've got to go out to dinner. This coming Saturday night, we have to go out to dinner. Then Sunday, we're having a big family dinner at my kiddo's house. So we're doing that. And then Christmas Day, we're having a big thing where everybody's coming to our house. Because on Christmas, we always make a huge brunch. So we'll have some badass bacon. I'm going to make millionaire bacon. That bacon is incredible. But I'm going to be making millionaire bacon. My wife's going to be making her hash brown sausage and egg casserole, which is amazing. She makes a French toast casserole that is amazing. Some fresh fruit and all that kind of stuff. So we'll be having that as well. So a lot of cooking, a lot of cleaning, all that crap. But yeah, definitely going to do a lot of the family stuff. And go up and spend time with Dad, in the facility. So, yes. All the 1911s I've ever shot, they will handle plus P. So I think you're good to go on that. Now, I'm not I don't know every, like the Gershons and all that other stuff. I don't know if they will. But every 1911 I've purchased and shot, they would. Looking forward to shooting my Red Ryder and not shooting my eye out. Yeah. I told you I saw the Red Ryder Museum. I was in Arkansas, and I listed the town. I think it's Rogers, Arkansas. I think. I could be wrong. But anyway, the Red Ryder Museum was right there on the corner. And I was like, that's pretty damn cool. So drove right by it. I didn't go in and look around, but I thought, that's pretty damn cool. So I guess that's where it was invented. Rusty, I don't really remember. It was an old, all stainless, 44. I know it was a 44 Magnum, but I don't know the exact like Super Hawk or Red Hawk. I don't remember that. Like I said, this was 1,000 years ago. Kimbers, yeah, I'm not a big fan of Kimbers, to be honest with you. Now the old Kimber, yeah, they were good. The new ones, they have a ton of mem parts in them too. So I'm just not, and their Kimbers are known to jam and have feeding issues. So I would not do a Kimber. I would do a Dan Wesson. If I had to buy one, it would definitely be a Dan Wesson. Hello, Abigail. How are you? Merry Christmas. But anything else y'all can think of or want to chat? I mean, I'm not in a big hurry. I'm sitting here in this piece of shit hotel. So, and another thing, you can tell I'm in Odessa, but on the floor when you walk in, there's literal oil from someone's boots from being out in the field. There's an oil patch about that big right there on the floor. There's an oil patch right there on the floor. There's an oil patch over there on the floor. Matter of fact, I'll show you. I ain't hiding nothing. Let's see if you can see it. See all the oil? That's oil. But yeah, I mean, these things have been ridden hard and put up wet, these hotels. Yeah, had to send mine back 2020. Kimber told me not to use plus P anymore. By Dan Wesson. Yeah. I know that they had a recall. Kimber, I think it did like, what was it, a year and a half ago with their red dot system. They had a recall on it. But I've played with the new ones. I think I don't really like the way they feel. Even their triggers are kind of janky. Now, of course, it's 1911/2011. You can adjust them, you can tweak them, you can do all kinds of things to them. But it's like, I want to buy something that is good to go right then. I don't want to have to put extra work into something brand new right off the bat, unless I'm, Cerakoting it or customizing it or doing something like that. I don't want to just have to make it function properly. That just pisses me off. Yeah, Floridian, that's what I'm going to do. Sometimes you're up there and he's sleeping, so you're just sitting there looking dumb. And then sometimes you're having conversations with him. So it's really all about him. So it's one thing, you can't replace your parents. And what's really funny, and even when I've been up there a lot of the nurses, they'll see my dad and then they'll see me and they're like, "He's your dad?" Because my dad is 5'7". Yeah, my dad's 5'7", and I'm 6'3". So a lot of people are like, "That's not your dad." But then when you look at my dad in the face, you can see resemblance, or you can see some of our, we don't look identical by any means, but then you can see the resemblance. But yeah, when we stand next to each other, I mean, it's like Mutt and Jeff. And what's funny is I think when I was 10 years old, I was already wearing his boots. I was already wearing his jeans and already wearing a bunch of his shirts because he had custom shirts made, cowboy shirts. So I was wearing all of his clothes when I was 10. And that didn't last very long. I grew out of those pretty quick. But that's always been the joke, like, yeah, he wore your clothes when he was 10. Oh, Uncle Dan. Yeah, I was gonna say, I've got pictures where you and I are standing next together. Let's say, I think Bald and I the same height? I think we are. I can't remember if Bald's son is what? How tall is your son, Bald? Is he like 6'7" or something? And what's funny is my dad's cousins, they think that's where I got it from because his cousins were like 6'7", 6'5", 6'8". So they think I got it from that side. Because my mom, she was only like 5'10". Yeah, there you go. Say Bald 6'3", because I thought we were the same height because we got pictures and you and I we're exactly the same height. But yeah, your kid is tall. Oh man, you guys are funny. Say, always good to have these chats. Anything else that? Oh, yeah, I made a mistake. I've been taking this, and I probably should have known this. I should have read it. I've been taking these things. I don't know if y'all can see them. These Energy Z. I've been drinking these like in the morning and stuff. Well, I was here and I took one of these like at, I don't know, 4 or 5 o'clock in an afternoon because I was like, man, hopefully it'll clear my head up or something. So I took one of these. Man, I couldn't sleep. And monsters and stuff don't even bother me, but there must be some super caffeine or something in this thing. But man, I could not sleep after I did that. So I'm like, I'm not taking those in the evening anymore. Springfield Armory 1911s aren't bad. Their older ones are actually pretty decent. The special forces used them. But yeah, I've shot a lot of the older. I've never owned one. I can't remember the model number of that one. It's super popular. It was like all the, it was their tactical version. It had the rail on it, stuff like that. I can't remember. Maybe it's called the tactical. Maybe that's what it is. But I mean, it was very reliable. Abigail said, Mom was 4'10", Dad was 5'10", and I'm 5'7". There you go. Well, I'm 6'3", and my wife is 5'10". But my daughter, she's 5'7". So TRP. Yep, thank you, Rusty. It is the TRP. Yeah, and I agree with Bald. But honestly, for the money, they don't feel as tight as other ones. Dan Wesson would be the best bang for the buck. I mean, it is. Dan Wesson's, and I'm not trying to get on the Dan Wesson CZ train. I mean, they're just super nice 1911s. And hell, they're 2011s. Dan Wesson makes a 2011. They're kind of rare. They used to make, I think it was like 4 years ago, they had 2 models of the 2011s, and they're actually very reliable. And I mean, you're getting a good product from a Dan Wesson. I've never, ever, ever heard of or seen a problem with a Dan Wesson, but I have with other 1911s. And y'all know I speak the truth. I will never, ever, ever own a SIG 1911 anymore. I had way too many problems with those. And you can go back to old videos. 2 of them shit the bed, and one of the hammers literally broke. It freaking broke. It was MIM. And then the damn trigger on one of them freaking broke because it was MIM. The actual trigger, not the trigger shoe, the freaking trigger. I pulled it and it just fucking split. And then I pulled the hammer back to put it into single action, and the freaking hammer snapped. So, no more. I'll get off my soapbox, but yep, Savage. I've seen a few of them, but I don't know anything about them. They had, what did they have? They had Savage even made. They even had a polymer gun that came out. It was kind of like a shield. I don't think it did very well, but I remember when those things hit. I think a couple of years ago. Well, we got through all the questions. Hello, Trigger Bar. How are you? Abigail's girlfriend's 5'10". Yeah, I mean, that's pretty tall. My wife has a really good friend of hers she's either 6 foot or 6'1". But that's the thing. My wife is, she's 5'10" and weighs probably 118 pounds. She still has that model body and can eat like a freaking horse. She's got the metabolism. It's unbelievable. I wish I had that. Anyway, all right. Well, if y'all don't have anything else, we will shut this off. If y'all do have any questions afterwards, please leave them. And then also, if you think about it, and of course, I'll try to, I should be able to do the chat next Wednesday. I know people are going to be with their families and stuff, so I'm not saying, hey, spend time away from your family, but I might, we'll go ahead and do the Wednesday. I'll plan on the Wednesday chat next week, because I would like to give a summary of what my friend, because we're going to shoot on Wednesday of next week, I believe, during the day. So I would like to give an opinion of what he thought about the 300 blackout and the suppression and all the other stuff, because he's never shot 300 blackout or a 22 suppressed pistol. He's only shot a 22 revolver. So I figured we'd break him in with some of those and see what he thought, because he really wants to get a 22 for his kids, and he's thinking of jumping off into the suppressor world too. So who knows? We might shoot, and then after that, we'll walk out, and he might order some stuff or whatever. But I'll walk him through it. So, would a Glock plus P 45 ACP? Yeah, a Glock will handle plus P. Big Johnson, I would like to hear all the soapbox stories. Maybe start a new channel. Yeah, well, I've got a barbecue channel that I haven't been able to keep up with because of my dad, and I'm not blaming it on him. I mean, hell, things happen. But maybe we'll do some soapbox chats sometime. If y'all want them, let me know, and maybe we'll do a non-gun chat, and we'll just talk about soapbox stuff if that's what y'all want to do. Like I said, this is y'all's chat. Y'all ask questions, and y'all send me questions. I write them down. I have a little book or a little thing I keep here, and I write down the questions. Even from videos, people will say, hey, this isn't related to this video, but can you talk about this on the chat? So I get a ton of those. So I always try to write them down. My favorite 22 suppressor, and you and I have one of the same suppressors. The one I really wanted to buy was the Q El Camino. That's the one I really, really wanted to buy, but they didn't have it, and there was a back order on it at the time that I bought mine, so I got the Dead Air Mask. The Dead Air Mask is a nice suppressor. I'm not saying it's bad. Well, there's some things I don't like about it. When you actually go to unscrew it off of, say, a new pistol, where the threads are tighter, it actually tries to disassemble on you. And you'll actually take the cover off, and then you have to take all the shit out of it, and you have to go take your adapter off. It's a pain in the ass. I don't know why they didn't do the screw-on threads this way and then do the outer can the opposite way. That would seems like it would make total sense, but they didn't. Reverse threads so you don't take it apart while you're taking it off. That seems pretty freaking logical to me, and I'm not a damn, suppressor architect by any means. That's irritating, but I mean, the sound suppression is good, quality's good, haven't had any problems with it. I'm just being nitpicky, in case somebody's looking at one, but they are quiet. So that's the only 22 suppressor I have. I think you have the Sparrow as well, but how many rounds of 9mm is enough to stockpile? Well, Clyde, you got to think about it. How much can you carry? I doubt you can carry like 20,000 rounds. I mean, physically on your body or in your vehicle. If your vehicle breaks down, you're giving somebody 20,000 rounds if that were to happen. So, I'd say 1,000 rounds, 2,000 rounds, depending on how much you shoot. So there's all kinds of variables there. Abigail, I agree. That's what I intend to do. I appreciate that. I always appreciate y'all's well wishes and all that. Like I said, we've got a good base here of like-minded people, which is a great thing. Yeah, Vivek he's slapping him in the face with what he's saying. Yeah, how big is your garage? That's another thing. A lot of people store ammo in safes. I have some ammo in the safes, but dominantly I do not use safes to store ammo. I store them in good, real ammo cases or ammo boxes, not plastic ones, because they could flex. And then I pop them open, even if you get them in an Army Navy store. Before you buy them, check the seals to make sure the seals are good. And also lube the seals with a little bit of Vaseline. Don't use oil or chemicals because that can expand it. Just run a real thin line of Vaseline around it. Check your contact. Even before you buy it, you can check your contact. And make sure it's good, because some of those seals, you can just touch them and they'll literally break apart if you're buying used ones or even cheap, China ones. So store them in there and even throw a dry pack in there. Never had a problem. I've got ammo from the 90s, probably. still there because I don't rotate it. You know, like people are like, oh, always move it to the front and da da da. I don't do that shit. So, and I store it in the vehicle too, in a go bag, and I'll shoot that periodically throughout the years with all the heat and stuff. Never had a problem. I'm not saying it couldn't happen, but you know, there you go. Oh, there you go. Finally got my dead air primal back after I blew it up. Warranty work was very good. There you go. Is Glock interchangeable with calibers? Yes, it is. You can go from, well, of course, the 10 millimeter will shoot 40, but you can go, what is it, 40 to a 357. Is that correct? Or is it 9 and a 357 or something? I can't remember, but yeah, you can you can get different barrels for them. And of course, you have to have different magazines. Yeah, well, all my mags are loaded. I think y'all have seen that. Yeah, I definitely store my mags loaded. I'll just have a bunch of empty mags. But I'll be getting those new mags in that I just ordered more, and then I'll load them. And yeah, I don't believe in just having a bunch of empty mags laying around. I probably have some somewhere, so don't shoot me if you ever see one, but I dominantly keep them all loaded. Hello, Hillbilly Up. How are you? Aluminum case ammo, I've shot it. A lot of it shoots okay. Some guns can be finicky on it because the aluminum can expand. But, you know, a lot of it'll run. It's not my perfect choice. But if you find it like super cheap and you just want to buy some, hell, buy it. I've shot tons of aluminum ammo. And it usually goes pretty well. 45 to 10 millimeter, yeah. Yeah, and another thing, as far as mags, I mark my mags. Some people don't. And I'm not saying you have to do it with a pen. I have some where I've got writing on it, and then I have some where I do Ranger bands. Because the Ranger bands, here's the way I look at it, especially with 300 Blackout. On 300 Blackout, my Supersonic will not have a band. And then my Subsonic 300 Blackout always have a Ranger band, either one Ranger band or two Ranger bands on the bottom of the mag. And the reason being is everybody says, well, I mark my mags. If shit goes bump in the night and you don't have a flashlight, how the hell are you going to read it? You can't see in the dark unless you got night vision on. So what I do is with the Ranger bands, I just grab that mag. You know, I've got them stacked. I just grab that mag. If it's got a band on it, I know it's subsonic. If I've got a no band on it, I know it's supersonic. So, and I've talked about it 1,000 times. You don't buy Ranger bands because you can buy a bag of them for like, people sell them for like $25. Go to Walmart, buy you a freaking bicycle inner tube. Doesn't matter what size. They'll cost you like $4. Just sit there with some snips, cut them into whatever thickness you want, and you can make thousands of them out of one inner tube. And then you're done. Cost you $4 and just sitting there watching TV and cutting, or watching a YouTube video and cutting, or whatever. I've got razor snips. It cuts right through them. Yeah, I thought it was 40 to 9 or something like that. I can't remember what it is, but I think there's some kind of translator thing where somebody's written it all out. But I thought it was 40 to 9. I can't remember what 357 is. If it's 40 to 357 also. Because I know a buddy of mine, he has a Glock. I can't remember what it is though. And he got a 357 barrel for it. But, you know, whatever. Knockoff ACOG. Are you talking about the primary arms? because I don't know if you're talking to me or somebody else. Primary arms prism scopes work very well. I like them. That's what's on my ultimate truck gun setup, the two uppers. Yeah, I think it's worth the price, because that's the thing about prism scopes. You don't ever need batteries because it's an etched reticle, and if you've got stigmatisms like I do, it's not effective because it's an etched reticle. I went through well, SIG hates me. And I had an issue with an X5. Y'all could probably saw if you've been following me for a long time, you know that. So SIG hates me. That's why I'll never own another one. I've had so many freaking problems with SIGs. The only SIG I own now is the P322. 1911s, I had one 10 years ago. It was the Scorpion or whatever that tactical version was. And then I had the 1776 edition. And both of those were pieces of shit. So, and then they told me I broke it. Or no, I'm like, how the hell did I break it? They were like, you abused it. I'm like, the freaking gun is immaculate. There's not even a scratch on it on either one of them. So they tried to blame me for everything. And I was like, the gun was the first gun was less than a year old. And the trigger broke on it. The other one was maybe 2 years old. And that's the one the hammer broke on it. So, and you can see both of those on my channel way, way back when. And you'll notice I don't show them anymore because I got them fixed. One of them I had to put an EGR, or I had to buy the parts, EGW hammer, EGW sear, had all that changed in it, and then I sold it. I got that MIM shit out of there. And then the other one, I had a 1911 trigger in a box. So I took the 1911 MIM trigger that broke off and put the other trigger in it. And then it was good to go. It just went right in. I didn't even have to do any adjustments on it because it was a standard 1911 trigger. And it just fit right on the bow. I mean, on the other factory bow, single stack bow. I have some V Crown also, IBG. They had a stupid sale on it way back when, and I bought a bunch of it. Oh, and I do have SIG 300 blackout ammo. I've got a whole case of the 124 grain SIG 300 blackout ammo. That's one of those big cases, you know, with all the individual boxes, the 20 round boxes. What is that, 1,000 rounds or something? I apply silicone carbide to the lower third of my 300 mags, so there's a tactical difference to maximize the risk to kabooms. Yeah, I mean, the like I said, during the day, I mean, I can look, and I think, well, I mean, I don't want to say everybody, but I can look in the mag and tell the difference between a 300 blackout bullet and a 5.56 223 bullet. I mean, I can. Some people maybe can't, or they can get them confused. I get it, but in the dark, you can't see any of that. So that's why I use the Ranger bands, or he's using silicone carbide. The good thing about the mags with their Ranger bands is you can always pull it off. So if I want to change that mag to a 5.56 mag or whatever, I'm not married to doing that. And the Ranger bands will not just fall off. You have to physically pull them off. Yeah, 300 blackout in some areas is hard to find. I'm seeing it a little scarce in some areas. I'll put it this way. For the 300 blackout practice ammo, I'm seeing it a little more scarce. The defensive or hunting 300 blackout, which is much more expensive, I am seeing that. Also, I've got some I've got some VMAX. I got a case of VMAX, 110 grain tap, I think, 300 blackout, and that stuff is wicked. It's pretty legit. You can definitely zoom. I mean, it's got some horsepower. I haven't chronoed it or anything like that, but it's definitely moving. And I have shot, this was way back, and it wasn't a 300 blackout, but I shot a pig with a VMAX. What was it? Oh, it was a 308 VMAX. And holy shit. It canoed that pig. So I'm sure it's going to be similar or close to on the 300 blackout, I would assume. Yeah, like I said, a lot of people are running the SIG optics, for like the 1-8s and the 1-6s and stuff like that. The more budget friendly, and a lot of people are liking them because I know their Army version one, man, that thing is like super expensive, but I just don't personally have any experience with it. But I've went about 30 minutes over. I appreciate all y'all. My voice is starting to really give out, so I need it for tomorrow. So I got to save a little bit of it and drink the rest of this water. And I've got another bottle of water I'm going to try to chug down. But I appreciate y'all so much. Definitely have a Merry Christmas. Love your families. If you can't see your families, reach out to them if they're in different states. Tell them Merry Christmas. You miss them, all that good stuff. Let's keep this a tight community. Definitely pulling for all the 2A things. Hopefully next year, some of this stuff will come to fruition that we want on our side. Hopefully our Supreme Court will do its job and uphold everything that we need and want. That would be a great start of a new year if that were to happen. But y'all have a wonderful night. Be safe out there, love one another, and remember, an unarmed nation's a very weak nation. So we all got to carry on. Take care, everyone. Merry Christmas.